Hello. This is a video that I have decided to make after seeing a lot of education creators, even some creators I've reacted to in the past, um, endorse a company that they co-own, apparently, their streaming service, and it's known as Nebula. So here we have Nebula. It's videos, podcasts, classes, creator built and creator owned. Except it's not actually, because that's not true. Actually, that's just factually incorrect. See, the thing is, when someone advertises something to you, there's a little thing you might want to know, and it's that they tend to, well, not want to break the law, so they don't want to say things that are, incorrect, but they will say things that are a little bit dubious as to, well, how accurate they are. For example, the claim that it's creator owned. Yes, technically speaking, in a way, but more in the kind of like, we agree to pay you if we sell this streaming service. So the agreement is that if Standard TV, which is the company that owns Nebula, if they sell the streaming service, the creators will get 50%. And the way the ownership structure works now is that, you can see this by the way, is that if we go over here to Nebula Talent, we can see at the bottom here, we have our situation here. So basically, we split the profits every month, but here's the problem. It's based on watch time. This is a massive problem because if you go over to Nebula, and we go to videos, we go to everything, what do we see? TLDR, TLDR, TLDR. Oh, what's that? Kind of looks like we might have a problem. TLDR, TLDR, TLDR. Now and again, we have this. So the question I have to ask is, if you're posting this much content in Nebula, well, surely that means that you'll get more watch time. Because if I'm a fan of you, sure, I might watch your video once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5. I may watch your video 10 times. But the thing is, if you can get me to watch loads of videos, I'm going to watch more, I'm not going to spend every single, week watching your videos that when you only have a video like once every month or once every year, But what if instead of that, I just watch a bunch of shorter videos? Your watch time is going to increase, and that means your pool out is going to increase. But by the way, just saying, 50-50 is not that great. The service they're providing is a platform in which creators literally are the product. They create the content, and they also bring the customers. I honestly do not, what? Standard TV are basically giving you the technology, even though the technology it's not even like innovation, it's just, they just did basically like Patreon, but for multiple creators. That's what they just did there. So this is my problem with Nebula. They are very dodgy. They get creators, and this is the thing I have said before in the passages that I've thought about before, is that it's very weird how it's very a corporate style of sort of like, and the reason why is this. You see, they will pay creators, per a video, a sponsorship payment. So in your video, they'll say, okay, yeah, you want to be sponsored? We will sponsor you. So you get sponsored to promote their streaming service. And you say in the sponsorship, oh, it's co-owned, which makes the the viewer feel as if, oh, it's basically like loads of creator Patreons. Except, as I said already, it's not. It's like a bunch of creators Patreons, except imagine Patreon took a 50% cut instead of like the usual 7%. This is effectively a system in which what is the viewer getting out of this? Are they actually supporting creators? I would assume creators have done their due diligence. They've worked out that they can make more money off of this, off of the sponsorships they get. And this is the point, off the sponsorship they get from promoting this to their viewers, than they will if they just promote a Patreon. So both of these, because obviously it's a problem, which is, do I really want to pay for Patreon and this? I would say if things are a bit tight at this moment, and you have Nebula, and you've watched this far, you probably haven't done anyway. This is like 5 minutes, 6 minutes into this video, but anyway, don't continue paying for Nebula. Okay, don't continue paying for Nebula. Stop paying exorbitant rates for this streaming service. If you want to continue to support the creator and you have the money too, if they have a Patreon, support them there, or if they have a YouTube membership, support them there, because no system is going to be as it's never going to be as bad as this, really, unless, because no creator is really going to get involved in something this bad. Keep in mind, right, this is not really a great deal, right? According to the information, 77% of creators depend on sponsorships. I would say that's kind of dodgy, because it's like, well, what do you mean with creators? Because am I a creator? In which case, I mean, I'm not making any money from this video on ads or sponsorships. This video is not sponsored. I will never accept a bullshit sponsor like this. And this is the point. First of all, sponsorship feels like maybe Nebula is actually supporting creators mostly off of their sponsorships. You'll see this with creators who do, as I said, TLDR. They upload a lot of Nebula content. And they seem to get a lot of sponsors because they get a lot of watch time. Watch time is not how you should calculate. This is why YouTube does views, because it really isn't a good idea to go off watch time, because a longer video will have more watch time. It makes more sense to platform someone with more watch time, maybe. I wouldn't necessarily say that is the case. But anyway, the point is, maybe you might say that. But it's not a very good idea to go like, oh yes, you deserve more money because you got more watch time. No. That makes no sense. So, this is the sponsorship section. So we've got Skillshare. For information, Skillshare is the company that, puts education behind a paywall. They're like Masterclass, except worse. So yeah. Audible is a company that gives its creators about a 7 to 93 rev share. So they're an awful company for the creators that work behind them. Very good audiobook service. So if you're sponsoring your audience, yeah, it's not bad for the audience. That's pretty good. Skillshare is kind of bad for the audience, although once again, that's more like a capitalism thing. It's more like it is the case because that's the way the functioning works. The content is locked behind a paywall. It isn't like they just took the content and put it behind a paywall themselves. It is locked behind there. That's just life. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, but it is. Audible, great for your audience, not great for the people who work behind them. Brilliant, nah, just a bit. Raycom, it's a full-on scam. You're paying way too much for that. Tantacrul, I think that's actually. So a lot of these things are really problematic. A lot of these sponsors. Dashlane, for example, is very overpriced. So is ExpressVPN. It's one of the most expensive VPNs you can get in the market. And HelloFresh is also in the dodgy market for the pricing strategy. Not as much as ExpressVPN or the rest, because they're literally just overpriced. And they're overpriced in comparison to competition. This isn't just, Purple, I have to consider they're in this list. I think I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, then you have this company, which is just full on dodgy. Morning Brew are not a really good product, but I guess that's more of an opinion. That could be up to you. And that's sort of the point. These are not great sponsorships. They will pay well, though. They're great sponsorships for creators, but are they good for your audience? Not really. And if they're good for your audience, they're probably not good for people behind them. All these sponsors are all squeezers. Not good. So yeah. Then we have this. They actually, I believe, raised $26 million, and they invested in this company. It's an investment firm. You get a mic, all of this, and then, we work on commission to manage your social media. That's dodgy. And merch. We don't just sell things where you slap your name on them. We work with our creators to, design things that are actually matter. Which is why this is just a pin, It really feels like, oh, look at that, real engineering, just on a notebook. That is just slapping your brand on something, though. So that's contradictory. Creative branding, that's not always the best idea to, once you become big, to change it, but maybe. And here is the thing: production. So independence doesn't mean working alone. We've assembled a world-class team of editors, motion graphic artists, sound engineers, and other production experts to create Nebula Studios. And our creators have access to a full team at pass-through rates. But yeah, we're giving every Nebula creator up to 40 hours of our team's time for free. To create content that will be on your platform. This is like Netflix charging the people who make the content to make the fucking content. Just imagine some writer comes up to Netflix and I'm thinking of this idea for the show, and they're like, yeah, sure. That'll be 2 million. What? 2 million? Oh, do I get to like? Oh, it'll be on there. It'll be on our platform. Yeah, we're gonna give you 2 million so you can make content for us to put on our platform. But don't you worry. When you put it there, we'll give you a 50% share. Well, no, we won't give you a 50% share. We'll give you. We'll pool all the money that we make. We'll take half, and then we'll see how much people watch your content on watch time. Better hope it's a long series, because if not, yeah, you're not going to do too well. Now, I have to be fair, though, to them. Like, this is probably why a lot of the shows that Nebula makes, or, that the creators make, take a long time to come out. Because it's like, oh, we give you up to 40 hours? So up to 40 hours, not the 40 hours, but up to it. It's like we give you 5 hours in a year. So okay, so I'm gonna spend 5 hours filming this is probably what occurs, because if you're charging creators for the use of the service that you're using for your own content, like it's your own exclusive content, that's the whole point. Anyway, basically this is probably why the content is so long. Also, a little extra piece of information for you: the owner of Standard, or Standard.tv, is actually an owner of another company, a production company. So I'm not sure if they created an additional production company for Nebula, or if they're just using their own one that they have now. Because like you know what I mean? Like Evan Webster Willie, I think it's called, is the owner of Standard.tv and the owner/director of Motion Atlas Films. So I'm not sure what that's about. Just not sure what that's about. Anyway, this is the point. Inherently, this is my problem. We are in a situation here. Is this a good collection as well? And finally, we get to the next creator problem situation, which is just sort of bad people. Now, when I say bad people, I don't mean like they've done something like bad. I mean, they may have. I'm not saying they haven't, but I'm just saying, like when looking at this, like, okay, well, how good are these people at content? Well, sometimes they're interesting at it because they've got very good quality, but what about the actual content? Because the actual content feels a bit concerning. You see, this is a problem I actually might talk about later on in another video, but basically, creators oftentimes run into this problem of basically, do you put out the truth, or do you slightly change it up a bit? Maybe make it more appealing for the sponsors, all this. And it's a bit concerning to me that a lot of these creators end up in Nebula. And it's a little bit concerning to me that some of the creators I've reacted to have also ended up in Nebula. These are big creators. Creators who make good content. Sometimes even content which appears to be at least, accurate. And then you realize, oftentimes, that's the point. It appears to be accurate. It appears to be okay. But is it always okay? Let's say that one of the biggest YouTuber things that often lie in their content. What's this? Oh my god, would you look at that? We've struck gold. YouTube propaganda. Basically, this is my point. Nebula is filled to bursting point with creators who are making good quality content, but maybe ask them, could you maybe veer away from educational material and into like entertainment? Because you make good entertainment, but terrible educational material. Like, it looks good, and you're learning something possibly, but the problem is you're learning the wrong thing, and that's my point. $5 a month, for sake. They go from 5 a month, or 10 a month, right? 10 a month if you want to get the classes section, where you get to listen to creators talk BS, because they struck gold. Well, not all of them. Some of them actually do have a bit of skill, but others are just like, well, yeah, they got just skill. They got more like actual like skill because of natural sort of genetics than they do have learned skill. But anyway, that's the thing. It's just not really true for a lot of classes. It's the same thing with like maths class and all that. A lot of stuff is absolute nonsense. It's just it's not really true. Anyway, the point is, 5 a month to like 2. That's a significant cut to give for CuriosityStream. If you don't know, CuriosityStream also own a little chunk of Nebula. Well, Nebula's parent company. Well, not parent company. Owner. They own a chunk of its owner. So maybe that has something to do with the fact that the CuriosityStream it's a minor share, of course, but they kind of own a little chunk of them. It's a bit interesting, isn't it? And that's the point. Like 100 a year in comparison to the 12 they say. It's a pretty big difference. But that's it. That's the point. Because that's the advertising fee. You know? That's the advertising fee. If you come here to try and get it without using their code, well, that's the point. Because you're not really supposed to sign up for Nebula without seeing creator first, you know? Exclusive content? Well, it's exclusive because creators don't bother to publish it there. And this is my major issue, which is a thing that happens a lot with Nebula. And maybe it doesn't as much anymore, but it happened a lot back in the day, which was, oh, this content wouldn't work with the YouTube algorithm. And you're like, yeah, the thing is, you're a creator with over 1 million subscribers. You post a video, any video. There could be a video with no thumbnail, and it's just you, like, and the video is just you sitting, like, on the toilet. And that video would make hundreds. Now, if you kept doing that, people might start to go, well, I'm not going to watch the videos anymore. But the point is, anything you post, it doesn't matter what topic it is, or how good it is, or whatever, anything you post to these major creators is going to get enough money probably to cover a lot. Maybe not for the creators that post, maybe like once a month or something like that, who'd like depend on a massive pay packet to, cover it. But for the creators that post all the time, yeah, they're going to be fine. If they post anything, like, they're maybe not going to make as much money, but it's going to make enough, We're talking about major creators here. So yeah, a lot of it is nonsense when they're like, yeah, this wouldn't work on YouTube. Yeah, it would. No pre-roll ads? Yeah, that's, it's just a thing. And download videos? Yeah, you know what you can also do? You can also just get YouTube Premium. It's not as good for it's not £5 a month, but it is about 10 quid, so yeah. So, this is YouTube Premium's price. So yeah, Nebula is currently offering a better deal. $10 for classes, $5 for hours. But yeah, inherently I think, is it a good deal? No. Most creators in there are going to talk BS to you. The classes are extremely dodgy. We've got massive issues. Massive issues. Like, video editing basics. You do not need to pay a class for that. This is how to make a Friday checkout video. That's actually a particular video style. And that's, if it's good, it's at least a way to make a particular style of video, This sort of thing. Like, it's just, a lot of the time, it's a problem which is, well, I know how to do something, but do I have the time? Like, if you told me, oh, I want to make a video, I'm going to pay you, 500 quid, and you have a month to do it in. Yeah, I'm going to create a better video than if you're like, oh, I want you to create a video, it has to be on this topic, you're not going to make any money, and also, you don't have a month, you've about, like, a week, but also you don't have a week, because I'm not paying you, you have to do all these other things. It's not going to be as good. You can't just say, well, do this thing. Yeah, that takes time. So inevitably, this is always a problem with creators when they insist on going, well, you do this, do that. Yeah, that's not going to work. A video that takes you 2 months to do will take me years because I don't have the time. Unless you literally just do not bother to really work in those months. It's like, it took you a month, but like, not of actual work. But anyway, that's the point. That's just a little quick, this video is very long, discussion about Nebula. Don't buy Nebula. It's a bad service. It appears to be bad for creators. Save the little sponsorships they get. Maybe we'll see in the future how much they get paid for those sponsorships, because it seems like it's very interesting. We seem to get a lot more money, because oftentimes creators don't even mention Nebula when they're not sponsored by them. Except a couple of times. I feel like that might be when they don't get enough watch time. Perhaps. Just a thought. Just a little thought. Basically, I would say support like their Patreon, or get in direct money, or like YouTube memberships, that sort of thing. Anyway, I'll just say this. Bye-bye. Also, just saying, a lot of the creators on this platform of Nebula, they're not great creators, so you might want to leave them if you want, because, some of the products they're endorsing because of Nebula are not good products.